Hey, what's up, everybody? And thank you for listening to Operation Agency Freedom, where we are bringing you top secret advice from the world's most badass digital agency owners. These amazing men and women are sharing their stories of how they have built 6, 7, and 8-figure digital agencies and how you can too. My name is Chris Martinez, CEO of Dude, where we help digital agencies by giving them the people and the processes so that they can scale profitably. And today I am joined by a true badass Air Force veteran, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu choke you out person, my friend Wes Schaeffer from The Sales Whisperer. How are you doing, sir?
You're much nicer on interviews. We should only speak during interviews. I like it better.
Don't judge me by my Facebook comments on your Facebook posts.
It's like, what happened to Chris? What'd you do with his body? How did you take his soul and replace him? Bring back the old mean Chris.
You're too scared to come down to Tijuana, so you can never, ever kill me, sir. So, man, I'm really glad to have you on the show, and I'm excited to talk about your agency. So, like, as we were kind of talking about, your agency's pretty unique, so like a lot of the content that you put out is around sales, but you also integrate in, or at least you help clients set up CRM systems and like some lead generation. So I'm excited to talk about that. But the first thing that I want to talk about, and I've been dying to ask you this for a long time, is talking about religion in business. Now, everybody's heard, don't talk about politics and religion. And one of the things that I actually like about you, even though I am not religious, is that you do quote the Bible pretty often, and you do talk about your Catholic faith pretty openly with your audience and within your business. So why don't you talk about that, man? Where did you come up with this? Where did you come up with the idea that you were going to integrate your faith into your business and marketing?
I told you specifically we're not talking religion. Why do you change the rules on me all the time? Why you got to be like this, man? Why you got to ambush? That's not very religious of you.
This is your Fox News coming out right now. Switching the narrative.
So, I've grown up Catholic, cradle Catholic, always gone to mass, got 7 kids, try to live my faith. But I started this daily thing. I think it was June 26th, 2017. So 2.5 years now of, in the Catholic faith, we have daily mass, right? So you can go to church 7 days a week, and there are set readings every day. And so, they say if you go to church for 3 years, we have an A, B, and a C cycle. If you go to church every day for 3 years, something like 80% of the Bible is read to you. So even because, we take it for granted that we can read, and books are affordable. Bibles are affordable for, 1700 years pretty much. And even after Gutenberg invented the printing press, it took another couple hundred years for things to really be prolific. And so for all that time, people were illiterate. They couldn't afford books, couldn't afford Bibles. So it had to be read to them. So, we had this daily reading. So, but I was seeing a guy that's very well known, an in-your-face kind of guy, very anti-religious, former religious guy, very secular now, coming up with his daily words of wisdom, basically. And overall, they were fine, a little harsh, in the language at times, but some people need to be slapped around, but a lot of them I didn't agree with. Some I agree with, a lot I didn't. And I was like, all right, where can I come up with inspiration for a daily thing? I was like, the daily readings.
Yeah.
So for 2.5 years now, every day and typically I grab one from the Old Testament, primarily because I think it's kind of overlooked, and everybody, they're reading the Gospels, you hear the New Testament. So like I try to pick something from the Old and just relate it to life, relate it to business even, I always conclude with, now go sell something. I don't think our faith should be put in a closet. I also don't think you got to wear it on your sleeve, right? I'm the first one. If I'm doing business with somebody, I go, oh, you can trust me, I'm a Christian. The first thing I do is lock my wallet away.
Yeah.
Right. That guy, it's like, prove you're a good person by being good. All right.
Exactly.
I'll figure it out. But So, I mean, it's a fine line, I think, between leading with it and bashing somebody over the head, versus just living it. So that's what I've tried to do.
Now, there has to be some element of that is polarizing. And, to quote Dan Kennedy, he would always say that if you're not pissing off somebody, then you're not pushing hard enough. You're not marketing hard enough.
If you don't piss off someone by noon.
Yeah, that's what it is.
He's like, get up, get after it.
Exactly. So, have you experienced any pushback or negative?
No. But, so I have my own website for it. I'm not putting those on the Sales Whisperer.
Mm-hmm.
I do share it on my personal Facebook page. I have started sharing the post because I use HubSpot. And so I've started to push the post out to Instagram and LinkedIn or whatever. And I've had, who knows, maybe some people have just unfollowed, unfriended quietly. Nobody has come out and attacked me. And I have had several messages like, hey, thanks. Thanks for putting this out there and walking the talk. So
what advice would you have for anybody who's looking to possibly integrate their faith into part of their marketing and developing their online persona?
You got to weigh the cost, the cost benefit analysis, right? It's, like the weekly whisper or daily emails, whatever. I'm not pushing that out to people that aren't asking for it.
Okay.
Right. In my long-term nurture drip sequence at the Sales Whisperer, I've got a monthly email that goes out that is non-salesy, and some of those will have maybe a Bible verse or something.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that's once a month. That's it's not bashing over the head.
Yeah.
It's just trying to be inspirational. So, you just got to weigh it out. I think you've got to listen to your little voice. I think your conscience really is God. I think maybe it's a guardian angel, whatever, saying, hey, pay attention. There's something here that's deeper you need to focus on and uncover. So, if you're called to do that, do it.
Yeah.
But it's not a trick, right? Don't use it as a shortcut, right? Oh, I'm just going to start mentioning God. Everybody's going to buy from me. It's like, yeah. See you in hell, brother.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and even though I don't agree with all of your beliefs, I definitely respect you for, having the courage to, to put that out there. And I don't feel like you bash anybody over the head with that.
Yeah, I try not to bash anybody,
definitely, but it definitely sets you apart, too, which is great.
Yeah. Well, good. I mean, and that was my hope as well. I mean, it was to inspire people, right? It was to at least give people, because this guy is in kind of the same space I'm in, sales, marketing, entrepreneurship, blah, blah, blah. And so I at least wanted to give his followers an alternative, right? So, if I get more business out of it, cool. I mean, because on the blog post, I finished with now go sell something, and I link to my sales training program. So I am trying to mix faith with business in a good way, right? I don't think they should be mutually exclusive. And I've always said people are like, oh, well, hell, I'll pray for you. It's like, I appreciate you pray for me. I'd also appreciate if you bought something from me or if you referred me to someone, right?
Yeah,
how about
totally.
them apples? It's okay to do business with people.
Totally.
They go to your church or whatever. But again, there's always a trade-off, so you got two painters at your church. You choose one over the other. Now the other one's mad at you. Okay. Could that splinter the church? Yeah, maybe. But I don't know if I go across town and buy from the secular painter. I mean, okay, maybe you don't know. So is that better? I don't know. I don't think so. Keep it in the family, right?
We could talk about this for hours, but let's get into the whole reason why we're here talking about you and the Sales Whisperer. Now, I've known you for probably at least 5 or 6 years. And as I mentioned earlier in the show, your agency is pretty interesting. So why don't you start off? Just tell us what the Sales Whisperer does, because as you mentioned, it's an incredibly impacted space. You know, there's a lot of sales coaches out there. So let's talk about what it is that you guys do.
You know what? Everything's impacted, man.
Yeah.
Like, there's literally nothing unique anymore. You want to buy a Lamborghini? There's some dude that can sell it to you at half off through some brokerage auction firm. I mean, it's like everything's impacted, you know? So that's fine. How do you stand out in a crowded space? And that's one of the things I help people do, you know? I help humans sell to humans. I help you find your voice, find your unique selling proposition, how to figure out where your ideal customers are hanging out and present a compelling message to them. You know, yeah, like Dan Kennedy says, if you're not pissing somebody off by noon, you're not trying. And, you know, he's half serious, half not, but he certainly gets attention.
Yeah.
You know, the main point there is bland Me Too stuff, you know, just makes you forgettable. And it's just a death of 1,000 cuts and you're going away. So I help people stand out. If you got to be, I don't know, rude or intrusive, you know, with the messaging, if that's what it takes, all right. I'm happy to help you create that and deploy it. But usually it's just being clear with your message is going to offend some people. You know, there's a great marketer, Roy Williams, you know, he says the risk of insult is the price of clarity. So, and maybe that's just a nicer way of what Dan Kennedy says, right? But he is very clear in his messaging, and some people are going to take it the wrong way. That's fine.
I was gonna say that's okay. It's not for
It
everybody.
is. You have to choose who to lose. Okay. I always tell salespeople, your number one job is not to sell. Your number one job is to prospect. Not everyone is a great prospect. You have to disqualify, and it's not the same. It's not just the flip side of qualifying. It's not splitting hairs. You know, there's only a very small single-digit percentage of your prospects that are ready, willing, and able to buy right now, right here, today, at this very moment. Okay? Maybe I just bought tires. Doesn't matter. Buy one.
I'm literally looking for tires today. It's so funny that you bring that up.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, you're a hot prospect. Let's say today you buy tires and I call you tomorrow. Doesn't matter. Hey, Chris, buy one, get 3 free. You're like, dude, I don't have room for it. My wife will kill me if I put it in the garage. I live in an apartment. I live in a condo. I don't have the space. I would love to get your deal. I can't buy them right now. Sorry. I wish you'd have called 24 hours earlier. Okay. So not everybody's a prospect, but typical salespeople are trying to, you know, sell ice to an Eskimo.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always, you got to take a step back and figure out what can you do to pull them, attract them to you rather than try to cram it down their throat.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that that's where, you know, the sales whisperer speaks to the sales coaching, but there's also a digital component to what it is that you do. And since that our audience are digital agency owners, I want you to talk about that specifically. So what is the digital aspect of that you're also integrating into your agency?
Yeah, I mean, I got serious about digital in probably 2007. Well, at least really, I got into it, got serious probably 2008 when I started working with Infusionsoft and helping people, you know, I call it automate, integrate, dominate. You know, there's a lot of tedious, redundant, busybody things people do in their business that either don't need to be done by you, right? Or can be automated. And so I've built my entire business online, 100% inbound, you know, at least 99.9%. I've spent a little money on ads here and there. But you need to know though, where are your prospects hanging out? If you sell financial services or retirement planning, reverse mortgages, things like that for the elderly, you may want to run a Yellow Pages ad.
Yeah.
They're still saving the Yellow Pages and we'll refer to it.
Or newspapers.
Newspapers for sure.
Reading the daily
radio,
paper.
right? Yeah. Radio. Buy the local, you know, my in-laws, right? They don't use a DVR. Nope. Got to be home. Got to watch Jeopardy. Got to watch Wheel of Fortune. Okay. And they're watching the ads. Like every now and then, there's a financial guy here in town. Our kids played football together, and I'll see his ads every now and then. If we're watching a local show or just catching something live for, which is extremely rare. But I'm like, man, that guy's advertising on TV. I know that dude. That can work depending on your demographics, right? He doesn't need to be on Snapchat or even Instagram. That's not his target market.
Yeah.
And so, figure out where they are and put your offer in front of them. But you know what still works? Like that red and white book back there, right? Physical, letters. I got a thank you card right here from a guy, who takes the time to write a letter. You don't throw these things away, or maybe even if you do, I've got a drawer. It's called Kudos. I throw all my thank you letters in there. I keep them. So old school books, letters, physical mail cuts through the clutter. I think better than ever.
So what would you say the percentage of your clients are incorporating some sort of digital components? Because you just mentioned all these offline products.
Well,
things
everybody.
Okay.
Everybody. I mean, look, you have to have a website today.
Yeah.
And sure, there's the one in a million, that can get away with just solely word of mouth. But that's the exception, not the rule. The first thing I do when somebody reaches out to me is I Google them.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see their stupid Twitter posts. I want to see their drunk pictures on the beach, from this summer. And like, all right, what's this person all about? What's their judgment like? What's their track record? LinkedIn, you can see activity, all activity, posts and activities. There's there's a woman that I know does PR. I'm having her come on my podcast. Mm-hmm. She's a beautiful woman. And this guy made a comment just 2 days ago. He literally said, like, nice cleavage. Like, what? Did you say that on LinkedIn? It's like, okay, note to self. I'm not doing business with that guy unless maybe he needs reputation management. He'd be a great client. I can charge him a lot of money because it would take a lot of money to clean his stuff up. So you got to be online. And that's digital, right? And so what does that look like for each person? Yeah, it can be a little different. It could be a very small website. It could be video intensive. It could be a short little on-demand webinar that goes to an application that goes to an automatic link to a calendar. Mm-hmm. But you got to be online.
So are you, because I mean, you've been doing this a long time and you're a pretty successful guy with a pretty successful business as well. Do you take like a custom approach to all of your projects and everybody gets kind of like a customized solution, or do you have a framework that you're kind of using for everybody? What does that process look like for you?
It has evolved. Mm-hmm. When it was just sales training in 2007, it was a very set structure of sales training and sales management training. Mm-hmm. When I bought Infusionsoft for myself and started using it, then I started following their structure for marketing automation, right? Because there you got to build out your business. And so that was a very procedure-driven structure to get people onboarded and to create a positive ROI as quickly as possible. Mm-hmm. As I've evolved into doing more for businesses, then it became a little more fluid. But then, like I think most of us that get into any kind of agency work, even though it's good money, it can be tiring. So now I'm back to what can I do to systematize the business. I'm working on a new coaching program to roll out next year, focusing on high tech, because I've spent a lot of time, arguably going back to 1988 when I entered the Air Force Academy. I mean, I've been surrounded by math and science. I sold technology, to Google, to Dell, to Sprint for 10 years, and now software as a service for 12 years, and I've never niched. So I'm just looking at things and like I can serve more people easier and even better through a standard offering with some group and some private coaching.
Oh yeah.
So
absolutely.
So it's just, kind of the ebb and flow of business. And, I'm trying to evolve as the business evolves, as I grow, or I'll turn 50 next year.
God, you're old.
I know, man. It's going to be bad when an old guy whoops your butt on the mats. But I digress, man. Don't get me off topic, man.
Hey, anytime, any place. Actually, I tore my meniscus, so I haven't even trained in about 6 weeks, but I'm ready to get back out there. I was going to do my first competition in November, and I tore my.
Did you have surgery?
No, it's just a small tear. So I got an MRI. It's a small tear. They said, just time and rest.
I didn't do an MRI, but I go to a chiropractor. He said I probably did the same thing, and it's better now. But man, that hurt.
Yeah,
Good grief.
it was just annoying, and I knew I did something. It was my fault, like just bad position. But yeah, we digress. So
we're down that hole.
My next question is, like, what is working for you? Like, what is something that you can teach all of our listeners that's working for you now, or maybe something that is like a principle that's really helped you to grow your agency and to be successful?
Man, what can we say in a nutshell?
Yeah, and I'm only going to give you like 3 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, you need to understand and embrace the importance of sales, right? And everybody is in sales. Regardless of the size of your business, everybody's in sales, right? Even with your company. I mean, one of your staff, you see this regularly. Some idiot says something racist or something on Twitter, and like that company gets shut down, right? They are distancing themselves from them as quickly as possible. Good old Chick-fil-A, people can beat on them, anti-gay or whatever, but they're polite. You're going, oh, thank you for this. My pleasure, right? So everybody is in sales. And I have an adage and I have a marketing plan, things that I show people. And I say, to make any sale, you have to make every sale.
Meaning what? You got to go deeper with that.
Right. And so one of the analogies I use is dating. Right. I literally met my wife at a country bar. And so 2 hours before I got to the bar, right, I shower, I shine my boots, I pick my shirt up from the dry cleaner, I put on deodorant, I shave, I put on cologne. I'm preparing myself. How I approached my soon-to-be wife was a sale. Right? Do I approach her from the back, spin her around, come dance with me, little honey. Today's your lucky day. Do I approach her from the front? Do I smile? Each of those is a sale. When we actually dance, am I groping her, grinding on her, or do I honor the distance? Is it appropriate touching? Every bit of that is a sale. When I ask for her to dance again, when it comes time, can I buy you a drink? Can I get your phone number? Every step of that is a sale. Okay. In business, you wear a trucker's cap, right? You wear a freaking wrestler's mask and put a ring up at your booth. Those are sales. Yep. I can see you from across the auditorium. Maybe I'm turned off and I don't go down your aisle. Maybe I make a beeline for you. How you greet me, how your staff looks, how the booth looks, the color, the font, the messaging. Is it crowded? Is it simple? Is the music playing? Each of those. So to make any sale, to get me to sign up and buy what you're selling at that trade show, every one of those things mattered.
Yep.
Okay. And so you can't take anything for granted in your marketing and your messaging. Every step of that is a little baby yes, a trial close, moving me closer and closer to handing you money.
I love that. And there's two that resonates on two levels. So as an agency owner, you need to be doing that for yourself. So everything that we do at a convention is by design. There's very little that we haven't done on purpose. We bring our Mexican staff to the booth specifically so that Americans who don't know anything about Mexico or have very negative associations with Mexico can see, oh my God, there's some super knowledgeable Mexican developers that work for this company. We pass out Mexican candy. We really embrace that. I wear the crazy wrestling outfit because we are kind of a crazy company. Like we embrace that side, like that have fun aspect, which resonates with a lot of our clients. I can pretty much tell you that, like, if somebody is on LinkedIn and they have a profile picture of them, like all suited up as a digital agency owner, that is not going to be our ideal client. They're like way too uptight. It's not going to be for us. And so the second side of that is for your clients, right? So you can then take that same language and explain to your clients all the little sales that you need to help them make that's going to result in a new client, a new customer for them. That's great.
Yep.
That's awesome, man. You should totally templatize that and include that in your new sales process if you're not already doing it for your clients. Good, cool. So what's the biggest challenge that you face right now as an agency? Let's flip it on and say, you know, what are some of the biggest struggles that you're going through?
You know, I'm not immune to anything that everybody's going through. How to bring on the right staff, the right help. You know, do I hire full time? Do I outsource it? How do I want to grow?
Actually, yeah, because you said you mainly use contractors, which I think is great. I mean,
Right.
we are essentially contractors that we work with agencies. So,
right.
You know, I love working with. Are you considering bringing on full-time staff, like W-2 employees, or are you still wanting to?
I've always looked at it. I've never had truly a W-2. I've had like full-time contractors, but you know, California just passed this law.
Yeah, it's
making
insane.
It crazy for contractors.
It's insane.
Yeah. So
great for me. Great, absolutely great for me. So
yeah, really, it's I mean, I got to look at how that's really going to come down. So, you know, I'm talking with people in Phoenix, talking with a guy in Boston. So we'll see. But, you know, and I struggle with the same things any entrepreneur. Like I got a lot of ideas. You know, it takes discipline to write those down, prioritizing. All right, set those aside. That's like a 5-year thing. This is a this quarter thing. You know, how can I raise my revenue honestly and work less? You know, I want to train jujitsu 3 hours a day and develop more passive income. That's the nice thing with selling software, that kind of passive income. But again, you know, turning 50, got 7 kids. I got kids in college. I also like, what's my legacy, right? I've intentionally stayed home the last decade. I mean, a lot more than I could have.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to travel a little bit more, you know, these next few years, because I know like to really get my word out, make an impact. I've got to be more visible, get on bigger stages, to at least, again, give people an option, you know, let you know there's other paths that you can take and still grow and be successful. So, you know, figuring out that the legacy moves, right, starting in this next year, are some things that are weighing heavily on my mind right now.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate the honesty. So we're about out of time. So what is the best way for our listeners to get in contact with you?
Everything, you can find me at thesaleswhisperer.com, right? My social media links are there. It's all me. If you get a reply on LinkedIn or Twitter or whatever, it's me, right? It's not a VA. It's not an automation. Even if you continue through like the contact us, you get a link to my calendar, you get my cell phone. So if you text, it's really me. It's not a chat bot. It's not
a bot.
Yeah, it's none of that. Not artificial intelligence. So, you know, go there. And from there, you can see I've got 2 different podcasts. I've got all kind of free giveaways, the 21 sales secrets, the sales agenda, the sales podcast.
What's the difference between the sales podcast and the CRM sushi podcast?
The sales podcast is more about just interviewing people, like kind of like this, like what's your story? What's your compelling message? What'd you overcome? What's the lessons learned? CRM Sushi is more of a demo of tools. So you can see like kind of those unpackaging things like on YouTube where they'll like open up a new camera or something. So I have founders or executives of tech companies demo their product.
Oh, cool.
And then you can see if it's beneficial, right? I've had different CRMs. I've had artificial intelligence companies, auto dialers, you know, things like that, SEO tools or whatever. So more of a tech focus.
Perfect. All right. And who would be the perfect person to reach out to you today?
2 people. I mean, one, but if you're an individual salesperson, even an employee, right? You want to invest in yourself affordably, right? The 30-day sales growth program is super affordable. It's 41 videos, templates, weekly calls, super affordable, you know. And then the other would be, either the business owner of a small business or like the VP of sales of a corporation that's looking for ideas, inspiration, consulting on how to move the needle in their business or in their team. Those are the two main groups I work with.
Awesome, man. All right. Well, to all of our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in today, and make sure that you return next Thursday and every Thursday for the next episode of Operation Agency Freedom.